First off, thank you so much for doing this. So, my first guest, Mr. Moore, as I like to call you, uh, I'll let you introduce yourself.
My name is Christopher Moore, Seymour Designs, CMD.
Yeah.
And my work, I'm known for having a lot of detail in my work. I'm very
Mm.
meticulous when it comes to detail. I have different approaches to my work. I experiment a lot. So you'll find that my pieces are usually, they might have a signature, but they're usually different.
What inspired you to start creating art?
Well, my art journey started when I was about 5. Back in the day when you would watch Saturday morning cartoons and eat cornflakes.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles, Transformers, those shows would be on, and I would just find myself drawing turtles
Yeah.
on paper, and it just grew from there. I just started, just drawing.
Well, I mean, we see the Ninja Turtles in the background.
Yeah, yeah,
So you were always they were always your favorite.
yeah. They're always my favorite growing up as a child. Yeah,
And what exactly about them specifically spoke to you?
maybe it was the way they looked.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, because I always loved the show. Michelangelo was always my favorite because of
Yeah.
his voice, and he had the skateboard, and he was the coolest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just draw the turtles all the time. And then, superheroes like Batman and Superman were also my favorites growing up. And then, as time goes by, I just branch off into different genres and different characters.
Sticking with the Ninja Turtles for a moment,
Sure.
I imagine you saw the Ninja Turtles originally as a cartoon.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a chance to see the earlier comic book works later on as you developed as a fan?
Yeah, later on, because growing up, I only knew them on the TV as a cartoon series,
Right.
and then the movie came out, and then there was the merch, and then later down when I was about maybe in my mid-teens, did
Right.
some more research and realized, oh, it originated as a comic, and it was, a little darker, so it was a
Right.
stark contrast.
Did you ever have the interest in trying to adapt the style? Because, like you said, if you were originally inspired by the Ninja Turtles when they first started, once you saw that other style, because the comic book is very different from the cartoon.
Yeah.
And if the cartoon was kind of the influence, when you started seeing the comic book, how did you feel about your art style? And did you feel even more inspired by trying to explore? Could you mimic that art style?
Well, I mean, you just put a seed in my head right now because I've never thought about it. I never thought about, let's try the comic style of it. So it's
Right.
probably something I can experiment on. But I always focused on the live action version of it for some reason. Well, the reason why I did these pieces is because my friend, my
Mm.
coworker, he said, you know what, you should do like the movie versions of these characters.
Right. Right.
So I said, you know what, let me just give it a shot.
Like when you, because you talked about when you were 5, you
Yeah.
started doing those sketches. At what point did it turn from, oh, I like doing this for fun, to, oh, I want to focus on this as a way of expressing myself?
Well, that happened really pretty late because I had that gap from the age of 5 till I was about 17 after I left secondary school back in the Caribbean. And I
Mm.
was drawing a lot. I used to enter different poster competitions and whatnot at school. And I used to get some prizes and whatnot. And
Okay. Okay.
I started working at an architectural firm, and the drawing slowed down a bit to the point that I actually stopped drawing.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
there was like a 10-year gap that I didn't really draw at all. And
Okay.
came back to Canada, met this guy, Next Genesis Comics. His name is Devon,
Right.
and he actually inspired me. He said, you have potential. You should pick up a pen and paper and just start drawing. And I started doing portraits again, and then everything just blew up. I just got inspired by collecting more books, graphic novels, watching anime and documentaries, researching artists like Jack Kirby, Jim Lee,
Okay.
and everything came back is like right in the bike.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you mentioned some of the most legendary right there. When you were when you started exploring their styles and their art, was it just inspiration? Did you want to mimic them? Were you trying to sketch like them? What exactly from their styles inspired you?
Uh, with Jim Lee, it was the X-Men comics. The
Okay.
way the characters looked, I wanted to try to mimic those back in my teen years.
of course.
And because I'm self-taught, so I just look at stuff and see what they did to make certain things work. And as I got older, I discovered Jack Kirby. His style was an acquired taste when I was younger, but I appreciate it.
Mm.
I respect it because I learned that he was like one of the pioneers of different styles and techniques and what we have today.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so looking at him and his story really inspires me you know, to push further on.
Who would you say is your favorite or most inspirational contemporary artist right now?
Wow. I would say Jim Lee's still my
Oh,
top
yeah?
there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Jim Lee.
Yeah. I mean, those X-Men comics that he did, and even his Superman, like that classic Superman Batman that he's drawn, where they're kind of like the balance, the left and the right,
Yeah,
are
Night
some
and
of the
Day.
most. That's it, Light and Day, exactly.
Yeah.
Some of the most beautiful pieces that I feel I've seen so many people recreate and look at as kind of like a starting point of like, I want to be able to do this one day. Did you ever have any inspirations from artists of color in the community? Was there anything specific you saw? I always felt like there wasn't as much representation for us as a, like, I didn't see myself in the comic books as much. I didn't see myself on in the cartoons as much. Did any of that play a part in your decision in how you wanted to draw or what you wanted to draw as an artist?
I never give it much thought.
Mm,
Um, I know there's some black characters out there. Black Panther, you have
yeah,
Cyborg, you have Static Shock,
yeah,
Falcon, there
yeah.
was even the original Black Captain America, which was surprised
Right,
me back in the
Isaiah.
day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Isaiah Washington. So I used to draw afros a lot too. I used to draw
Okay.
characters with afros and try to represent some of us and whatnot. So
Yeah,
I try to do a mixture of most of my artists I saw growing up were back home. So it's in the Caribbean. A lot of people are black over there. So
yeah.
I see some artists that that I meet and I see what they do. And I was like, these guys are amazing.
Right.
So in terms of meeting artists of color, I've met a lot back home.
I wanted to talk about this one. Like we said, Mikey, the originator, the one of the inspirations. Can you walk me through? Because this is, like you said, based on the live action. This is the live action. It looks more like the live action from when we were kids. For
Yeah.
those of you who don't know, I'm talking about the '90s Ninja Turtles movies, not those weirdo ones you kids all watched later on in life. Michael Bay. I don't know why you keep doing this to us, but can you walk me through a little bit of how this comes to be? If I just want to sketch something that looks kind of cool, where does one even start to create something?
Oh, what I can say, Google is your friend.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
This piece started because my friend, my coworker, he said, "Oh, you should do the movie Turtles.
Right.
The movie Turtles, they're unique, they're cool. Everybody, they know them within a certain generation."
Mm, mm,
And so I started doing some research on looking up, the movie Turtle shots, and I realized that most of the shots were dark because the movie was pretty dark
right.
in terms of lighting. So I discovered that there's a toy line of the toys.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So those are the closest representation to the movie Turtles that I could find, and I just got good shots of each turtle,
Right.
and I just used those headshots to replicate it via a tablet
Oh, okay.
using digital medium. So I had a program called Infinite Painter on my first tablet, and I said,
Mhm.
okay, let me just give it a shot. And it's a learning experience because as I go, I didn't know how I was going to do it. So I'd start by doing, a rough sketch outline of the turtle in a different color pen. I was like, okay, this looks close to what it looks like. Now, how do I paint it? So I just filled in the greens, filled in the oranges, and then eventually I just layer different colors on top of it to create the effects that you see.
Mm.
Smudging, the little dots and speckles, the freckles, everything.
And this is all self-taught. You didn't go to school for this. You didn't.
I mean, I did art class in school.
Okay.
I've had a good art teacher, so he did inspire me in terms of drawing still life and whatnot. But in terms of education and training, in terms of what I
Yeah.
do, it's mostly self-taught. I just learn as I go. Most of my pieces, I always learn something new. There's always something new I bring to the table in each piece I
I,
put out.
when you say that you did do classes, was that after the 10-year gap?
No, this is when I was in school, going to regular
Okay.
school.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You have your regular art classes and stuff. Not only that, but it was my favorite class, so of course you're gonna,
Yeah.
go all out.
Right. Right.
It's my opportunity to cut loose in whatever they give me,
Right. 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 Right.
So I took
And
it seriously.
but there's always that one kid like you who's just like, "Yo, I'm actually serious about this." What was that relationship like with those teachers? How do you approach them to explain to them you're a little bit more serious about this than, me, for example, in the class who's
Well,
being
first of
silly?
all, there was about like maybe a handful of us who were on my level at the time,
Okay.
and the teacher sees potential in us, and out of class they would, pull us aside and say, okay, well, we want you to do this, we want you to do that, we want you to take part in a competition. And that helps because you don't know how you stack up against other people out there.
Right.
I remember the first time I've entered a competition, I was at a bus stop coming from school, and there was these two other guys, seniors, they're artists as well, at school. And they said, oh, we should get him. He's pretty good. I've seen his work. And they encouraged me, say, hey, you should join a competition. I wasn't sure
Oh.
of my skill level at the time, but I
Mm.
said, you know what, let me just give it a shot. And hey, I got third place.
Yo, okay.
Yeah. So after that, that really fueled me to say, you know what, I have potential. There's other people out there like me, and I think I can put my mark somewhere.
The 10-year gap, when you said you were working in architecture, were
Yeah.
you doing drafting? Like
Yeah.
the
I was doing
Okay.
drafting. So I would draw floor plans, elevations, cross sections. And I think that's what really harnessed my level of detail.
How do you feel that helped you sharpen your skills?
Well, it opens up the imagination because
Mm.
I would draw a floor plan and then my boss say, okay, I want you to do a cross section through the bathroom, through the kitchen, not the blank areas, but the areas that are very compact and a lot of stuff is involved for the,
Yeah.
construction process. So I found myself cutting through certain parts of the building, and I would cut through a kitchen cabinet, and you can see like all the shelving and everything cut through.
Oh,
And
wow.
then even the skirting of the floor, the baseboard, everything is cut through. So I'll draw all those little details, the window sills.
Okay.
So for example, if you have this remote and you
Yeah.
cut through it, it shows you what the circuitry, what the buttons look like
Right.
inside the remote. And I was using computer aided programs. So I'm doing
Okay.
this on the computer.
Okay.
Not only am I showing what is being cut, but I'm showing what's beyond that.
Right.
So if there's a window over there, I got to show that same window in the same position,
Damn.
and the rafters and everything, ceiling. So it was very fun when I'm doing elevations, cutting through stairs. Even my coworkers like, yeah, you got an eye for detail. You're very detailed when it comes to cross sections. So I guess that kind of harnessed my
Mm.
level of detail on doing drawings. I'll give you a
Have
funny
you
story.
Yeah, hit me.
Um, Back in secondary school, after I finished art, I had to take another subject, to fill in for that art that I passed. So
Mm.
I had two options. It was social studies and it was architecture, technical
Oh.
drawing. I picked technical drawing because it's the closest thing to drawing.
Mm.
My uncle was also a draft person too. So I said, you know what, let me just follow his footsteps. And I remember my first day, I didn't know how to lay the paper on the table properly. I just did it the same way if I was in art class. I put the tape under the paper, stick it on, and I just start drawing freehand a floor plan. And people around me looking at it is like, wow, this looks cool. But then the teacher's like, no, you got to use rulers and set squares and all that stuff.
Right.
And that's how I had to learn. He also had me in a box because I'm not used to being confined into a strict set of rules. So in
Mm.
technical drawing, you have to use specific instruments. You have to draw a particular way. The lines are straight, everything like that. And
Right.
it taught me that I should have to be like water. If you're outside the glass, you're free flowing. If you're in the glass, you have to be constrained within the shapes that you're in.
Oh, that
So
dude, that is so interesting.
it also challenges me too because the
Mm.
turtles, if you look at it, it's
Yeah.
pretty much me in a glass
Okay.
because I have to draw what I see. So what I see
Right,
is pretty much the glass and I'm water, and I have to fill this glass the way the glass is shaped.
right,
So if somebody asks me, "Oh, I want you to do a portrait of my face," I have to do your face the way I see it. I
right,
can't
right.
use. I mean, I can use some of my styles, but I'm still restricted to being in that glass or that box.
Mm, mhm.
Whereas somebody says, "Okay, I want you to draw Michelangelo in your style," then I'm outside the glass because you know it's free game.
And so when I'm looking at this Michelangelo right now, would you feel like this is in your style, or would you feel that this one was very much you did it based off of something specific?
Yes,
Okay,
based off
okay.
of something specific.
Out of the different, because so right now we have this Joker piece. Out of the pieces that you sent me, because you sent me 5 pieces
Yeah.
that this is something I'm going to ask of all the different artists to send me pieces that they would love to discuss. Out of the 5 pieces you sent me, which one would you say is you outside of the box or outside of the glass?
I would say the Omni Man
Okay.
was kind of a concept because it's paying homage to the Dark Knight Returns, where
Oh, I see.
Batman
Okay.
and Superman are standing on the hill about to
Okay.
fight. So I'm using an idea that I had in my head, and I wanted to see if it worked.
Out of those 5 pieces, what would you say is your favorite one? Because other than the Mikey, other than where you
Uh, Scorpion, I had a blast doing Scorpion.
I was gonna say,
That started as a kind of a dare, a challenge,
okay.
because one of my friends from work, he's a big Scorpion fan because he plays a lot of Mortal Kombat, Injustice, and whatever. And he said, "Yeah, you should do Scorpion." I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And he was like, "Did you do Scorpion yet?" I was like, "No, I haven't done it yet." And one day I'll say, "You know what? Let me just do Scorpion." So I played around with it, try to make it into my own spin,
Yeah,
if you will.
yeah,
And I was playing around with some special effects on the tablet, and I'm like, okay, this works pretty well. But the story behind this is that okay, I was playing Mortal Kombat, yeah, Mortal Kombat 11, I think it was, and at
okay,
the end when Scorpion wins, he jumps at the screen and he spins around. I'm like, I like that pose, so I took a picture of it, and I said I wanted to do that fiery thing, but I didn't know how I was
yeah,
going to do it. And I think he has both swords in his hand as well, so I tried to do a version of that pose and played around with the fire until I got it right. And I realized there's something missing. I know he has like a chain with a dagger at the end,
right.
but
Yeah,
why not just attach it to the sword and
yeah,
just have it coming at the screen? And that's what really made it pop. And that's where the detail comes in because I made sure I put the chain and put the light reflecting on all segments of the
yeah.
chain. The
And
Joker, the Joker is also part of that live action stuff
mm,
that I did because I did a whole Batman collection. So I did a few Jokers, a few Batmen over the years, and
yeah.
the Turtles. So all those were pretty much one huge package that I did. And I think this was done during the height of the COVID pandemic.
Oof.
Yeah. So I had time to draw.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is one of my favorite pieces
Uh-huh.
where we're looking at the Super Mario piece.
Yeah, this one, I did this because the voice actor was going to come to the Comic-Con in 2022.
Okay.
So I said, I'll just throw this one in there, you know? And then I did an alternate version. I believe you saw it.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
own the alternate version.
Oh, yeah? I think
Hold
I have
on,
a
let me
picture
reach for.
here.
Oh, you have it. Okay, we'll let you reach for yours. We're gonna switch this out. Yeah. So I own the like broken glass mirrorverse version, which I really like. I thought that one was cool. What inspired you to do a mirror version of it? And
Well,
also, especially if you're doing a mirror, why didn't you do Wario, which is one of the interesting takes? Because I like that.
I actually have an idea for Wario because what I do, I write a list of ideas that I have. It's pretty
Okay.
much like a full list of things that I want to do. And
Mm,
Wario's in there, but it's not really for that. It's for something else different. It's another crazy idea. I'll just see if it comes off. The reason why I did this one because I was looking through at album covers. It's like, came across Green
okay.
Day's album cover with the
Yeah.
X on the ice. And I was like, I like that. So let me just do that with the Mario.
Is there anyone that you've collaborated with that or any pieces specifically that you've collaborated with someone?
Well, I've been in collaboration with Zalpha Comics and Collectibles.
Okay.
And if you check my Instagram, you're gonna see a bunch of collages that I did. One is a hip hop collage with the Wu
Mm.
Tang symbol in the back,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, those. Also, just Justice League, the Avengers,
Oh,
anime
cool.
fi- anime characters, male and female,
Okay.
and all of those are collaborations with Zalpha Comics and Collectibles. And what he does, he specializes in cardboard cutouts.
Oh.
So he wanted me to do some of these characters, and then he's going to do cardboard cutouts to make a 3D image. So what it is that when you look at one of his pieces,
Yeah.
all the characters are layered in front of each other.
Oh, cool.
So he puts them on cardboard, cuts them out, and then layers them.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
So it gives the image depth.
Yep. Yeah. There you go.
Okay. And on top of that, you're already the type of artist to give good detail. So it's going to be
Yeah.
even like, yeah, even richer. That's wild.
Yo. Yeah.
So, what's one piece of advice that you would give someone who is going to apply to have a table at Comic Con?
I would say put out your best work on
Mm,
display. Also, the way your display is situated, make sure you can see it at all angles, as much as possible.
right.
Front, left, right corner, depends where you are.
Yeah.
Eye-catching pieces, that helps a lot because I don't know if you remember seeing the Street Fighter Flintstones mashup that I did with Ken and
Yeah.
Ryu.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody gravitates towards that. They point at it. They love it. And that's how I got in touch with the guy that I'm collaborating with because he saw it and he walked over my booth and we had a discussion and exchanged information. So that helps with in terms of network.
Yeah.
You may not get a sale, but you'd get valuable contacts.
Okay.
Yeah. Another piece of advice is just to give it a shot. You never know who's gonna like your work.
Mm.
You never know.
Was talking about family and the interaction of family and their support in going into the arts. What's it like now when your parents see how much you're putting into the artwork that you're doing?
They've always been very supportive.
Mm,
My dad always encourages me to draw. He always looks at my drawings on the wall every day back home. And whenever there's a competition and, the parents are able to come and, just watch,
mm.
he's there. My mother's also, she's very supportive. She's always been supportive. I remember back in the day when I was in school here in Montreal, I did a piece at art class. Uh, I was about 6 or something. And
Okay.
I was told to draw some animals. So I just did 2 giraffes, 2 turtles, and 2 birds or something. And I didn't think of anything about it. I just did it. Next thing you know, my mom said, "Yeah, your work is on the wall in the mall." I was like, "What?" And
Oh,
she just,
damn.
yeah, I don't know what it was about, but I saw it right there. I was like, "Yeah, that's my work." And my dad, he had lived somewhere else. I think it was Coolbrook,
Okay.
and the mall was Cavendish Mall.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, she told me that it was dead of winter, and my dad came all the way from Coolbrook to the mall just to see the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even as of late, I still send work to my mom and my dad. My dad would
Mm,
tell his other friends, "Look what he did."
yeah.
So yeah,
And real quick about your uncle, because you said your uncle did draft work and architecture work too.
yeah,
What's the relationship like with him? Because if you like with all that stuff you mentioned that you did the draft work and then went into art, what's his reaction to it?
he's always been supportive as well.
Mm.
Across the board, my family's been supportive.
So you're just
So I've,
blessed, lucky and blessed.
yeah, my grandmother, she's a realist, so she would say, you need to have a side hustle,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
she appreciates my work as well.
yeah.
She also encourages me, is like, you draw too much of this, you should draw this.
Oh, cool.
So yeah,
The
when I
the
was younger, I
the,
would
the
draw in this.
factual critiques.
Yeah, I mean, she's seen my work and she would say, "Well, you're watching this show and you're drawing like this show. You should just tone it down a bit or something."
Homie, I want to thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time. Is there anything else you want to tell people? I mean, I'm going to post all your socials and stuff like that. But what's the
Well,
stuff you?
oh, I know you. I know I'm going to show you your 2 favorite pieces.
Oh, okay, okay.
Remember this?
Yes, yes, dude. I so the Miles Morales that you drew, I love it. Yeah, that Miles Morales is fantastic.
And for this Comic-Con, I'm going to try to roll out this here in a bigger format.
Oh yeah,
Black Panther.
because I think they only just started announcing the stuff for Comic Con. They announced some of the guests and stuff like that. I would tell people to go check out the Comic Con website, Montreal Comic-Con, but specifically, I will make sure to update people about the booth numbers because I'm going to tell people to go see CMD, homie. Mr. Moore, as I like to call you with respects. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for
And
having me.
yeah, dude, I really look forward to seeing you again at Comic Con. And to everyone that's watching this, drawn to Comic Con. I since I was a kid, my mom took me to Comic Con, and my love for comic books and geek stuff has never ended, never wavered. I appreciate all of it. So and to artists like you, Chris, like, dude, I know I can't do this. I can't draw. I can't make any of this stuff. But all the pieces I have that y'all have drawn, I appreciate. So I want to thank you again. Thank you so
Thank you very much. Right.